So Dr. Todd Perry here. We're out at the pickleball courts. I got my friend Barry Mulkey from Texas visiting. He is an athletic trainer. We served together at a college down in Texas, taking care of the athletes. And he's out here on vacation, so we're going to put him to work. Today's video is going to be on exercises, stretching, proprioception, ways to avoid ACL injuries in your teenage girls. So we'll ask Barry to, we'll get Maya over here and go through some of those things that I think will help prevent those injuries. You got it?
Got it.
All right.
Cut. We're going to start today with our flexibility. I believe flexibility in preventing ACL injuries is just as important as anything else. Flexibility gives you the opportunity to make sure your body stays nice and straight, and you can also prevent other injuries from doing that. So here's a good couple start. You do your basic hamstring stretches, okay? Feet together, touch your toes, make sure your chest is big and tall. I don't care if you can touch your toes or not. All I want to do is make sure that you are stretching properly. So you can do that 3 times, just holding it 30 seconds each time, okay? All right, that's good. The next one, okay, you can spread your feet out, okay, and then spread them out about a little bit over shoulder width apart. Go straight down in the middle, go down. Make sure your chest is big and tall. Good, butt out. Now, the next one will be to the right. So you want, when you do this one, you want to make sure you stand up big and tall, okay? And then almost come over to it, all right? Don't just lean over in it, okay? Just like that. See how she's got her hands over? All right? Come over and then you go to the left side. All right? Now the next one, and I think this is the most important, not for just ACL injuries, but for all injuries in general. It is the hamstrings that attach to the lower back. So you want to go right over left, okay? Same thing, chest big and tall, shoulders back, and then bend down. I don't care if you can touch your toes or not, all right? Bend down, hold that, 30 seconds, 3 times, for 3 times, all right? And then right over left. Okay, excellent. If you start all these rehab exercises with a little bit of stretching, it seems to start preventing injuries that are even gonna happen. All right, cut. That's flexibility. All right, next thing we're going to talk about is proprioception. Proprioception in ACL injuries is paramount, meaning that it's very, very important. And I think that's the biggest attributing factor and one of the things that we don't address from time to time. Now, what is proprioception? It's your body's ability to know where it is in space and time, okay, in reference to your body at your core itself. So first thing we're going to start is just super basic, all right? It's something as simple as just standing on one foot, okay? It's just stork stance is what I call it, okay? So you can start there, hold that 30 seconds, all right? And if you'll look at her ankle, this is a very healthy girl. Look at her ankle there, cameraman.
We got you.
See her ankle, see how it's moving back and forth? She's incredibly healthy, a great athlete, and she's still having to struggle and make sure that her ankles stay straight. But what she's doing is she's teaching her body to stay balanced. Now let's do the other one. Okay. That's good. Now, there's advances to this, and you can add whatever you want to it, all right? You can do anything from, I call it the Cotton Eye Joe. So you start here, 1 foot balance, and you want to do it with both feet. Kick out, kick back in, kick out, and then go back. You can bend your knee in this exercise, okay? Start with bending your knee, and then what you'll notice is you'll quit bending your knee more and more the more you do it, all right? So kick out, kick to the side, kick back out, and kick back in, okay? Just like that. And you'll notice, look at her ankle again. See how it's moving and correcting her? Once again, good, healthy athlete, all right? Next thing we can do are called pistols. All right, now this is a little bit of strength with a little bit of balance training, okay, or in proprioception. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let her hold my hand, okay, and this is how you start. So have somebody, you can hold a table or anything that you want to hold. She's going to stick her leg all the way out, okay, and she's going to go down about a 3rd squat, okay, and then come back up. Now, if you'll notice what she did is she took her knee and she put it way over her toes. This is what we want to prevent. So this is why I've got her hand. This is going to be a little difficult for her because she's probably never done this before. So you want to make sure you kind of go back and go up. And that's why I'm only having her go a 1/3 of the way down to start with. Okay? Much better. Okay? Once again, healthy athlete, great athlete. She's still struggling with this. This is what we need to do to continue to grow our athletes, and so they don't have problems anymore. Now let's see if she can do a deep squat. Let's see if we can do it all the way down this time. Good, and she didn't use that much trouble. Okay, let's do 2 more of those.
That like hurt my arm.
Good.
My whole body weight to get that.
Good, excellent. Okay. Another exercise that we can do for proprioception is just simply, okay, rolling up on the toes. Okay, rolling up on the toes. Now, if you're struggling doing this, there's a couple little tricks that you can do to kind of advance this. Even if somebody's having trouble just simply standing there in a stork stand, have them think about their belly button. Okay, so what that does is that brings everything back to the center of your body, because we got to remember our core goes from our knees all the way to our chest. So we want to make sure, so if she's sitting there struggling and she's doing all this number and she's having to bend her knee a lot, okay, and bending your knee is not a bad thing. Just remember, make sure we concentrate on not getting our knee way out here, all right, or getting our kneecap over our toes. So if she's having trouble doing that, have her think about her belly button and close her eyes, all right? So just do a basic stork stand. Okay. Go from there. All right, so here's another variation of balance exercises, and once again, you can change this around on a daily basis, you can change it around weekly, it doesn't matter. You want to keep it somewhat entertaining. So what we're going to have her do first is stick her leg out, okay? She's going to do a squat, okay? A third squat, put her leg back, do a third squat, okay? Put your leg out, do a third squat. There you go, and come right back up. Now we're also going to make sure we're concentrating on the kneecap, not getting over the toes, not passing the toes. You want to keep the kneecap over her shoelaces. So here's another variation. She does the same thing, leg just out the side, but leave the leg straight, and then bend over. Once again, chest out, okay? Bending down, touching the ground, coming back up when she goes down just like this. All right, now here's another variation.
Get the back leg as high as you can go, Maya, when you do it. Really emphasize way up, way out. Good.
Okay, here's another variation. You have her hold that out there, just like that. Hold your hands out as far as you can. Now do the same exercises. You can do this with a can of stew. You can do this with a rehab ball of some kind. You can do it with a basketball, a volleyball, anything weighted. You can do it with a dumbbell. You can do it with a kettlebell. It doesn't matter. This is things that you can do around the house. Okay, notice how when she gets a little bit, she goes a little bit, all right, her knee will actually turn around and up. She stuck her knee out a little bit over her toes that time, so concentrate on keeping your knees over your laces. There you go, that's much better. Good job. All right, the next step to this would be actually starting to do squats, okay? So once again, kneecaps over the laces, okay? Hips over the heels, all right? Or yeah, hips over the heels, chest up big and tall, all right? And then you want to go straight up. You don't want to fall backwards, you don't want to fall forwards. You want your feet about shoulder width apart. So you want a nice line between the inside of your ankles, through your hip bones, all the way up through your shoulders, okay? So we're gonna have her start with just a 90-degree squat. So go down to a 90-degree squat and all the way up, excellent. Okay, once she's kind of got that mastered, all right, now we're gonna have her do a squat all the way down to her heels, all right? Good, and if one of the things that will happen when you do squats all the way down to your heels is your heels are gonna wanna come up. And this is one of the things that we want to prevent, okay? And this is part of the flexibility that we're working on. So heels, so butt all the way down, okay? You can even go all the way down and kind of sit and even kind of give a little bit of rock, okay? To kind of work a little bit of stretching of that hip flexibility, the ankle flexibility, the knee flexibility, and even the lower back flexibility. Because you'll be amazed how much the back has to do with the knees and everything else. And you want to concentrate, this is what we're going to do, is we're taking these exercises and we're going to transfer them into an actual dynamic movement, jumping, stopping, starting, all that kind of stuff. All right, so the next thing we're going to add to this is we're going to continue with the same thing. We're going to go all the way down to a deep squat. All right, and now we're going to jump. Okay, we want to just jump and land in the same spot, so perfectly. Okay, go all the way down, jump. Okay, and one thing we want to watch is making sure her heels or her kneecap stays over her knees. Okay, all right, and that she's landing softly. So you want to make sure she lands super softly and she's not landing on her heels. When she goes up, you want her to drive through her heels, but when she goes down, you want her to land on her balls of her feet. All right, Excellent, good. One of the purposes of doing this exercise is because studies have indicated that because the girls have a greater Q angle, which basically means their hips are wider than boys in reference to their knees, they are predisposed to ACL injuries. The other studies indicate that that they don't land as softly, or they don't bend their knees and their hips as much. So the big purpose of this exercise is to make sure that we land softly, that we're driving through our heels, and then we're landing on our toes. So let's do this one more time. Okay, so we want to make sure she jumps. You want to make sure, start out jumping about 3 inches, 6 inches, 9 inches, and then work all the way up to a foot as far as your jumping goes. And then we'll start to talk about dynamic or side to side and front to back movements. And we'll talk about, at that point, we'll talk about actually landing and not getting our knees angled in. So let's do this a couple more times. So we're going to go all the way down to our heels. We're going to drive through our heels all the way and land on our balls of our feet, all the way up and all the way down. Okay. Excellent, Maya. All right, so now one of the things is when she lands, that she needs to work on is when she lands, she needs to land in a deeper little squat. All right, so when you land, actually take and land in a little bit deeper squat. Perfect. Excellent. See how good? And see, once again, great athlete, but she's having a little trouble with balance training. She's also been doing this for a while, so she's burning a little bit too. All right, so now let's talk about lateral movement. So when we talk about lateral movement, okay, and actually we're going to jump over this line right here. So when we start doing lateral movements, one thing that we really want to watch her do is make sure when she lands just like she's landing when she is doing just a basic up and down movement. So when she lands, we don't want the knee tilted in. Okay, so we don't want her landing with her knee bent and tilted in like this. We want her landed with her knee here, bent right over her laces, and then I want her to make sure that she lands super, super soft. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have her jump over this line, all right, with her, and land just like she was when we were doing just up and down movements, all right? So jump over, okay, good. Okay, see how her knees are staying over her shoelaces? She's driving through her heels and landing on the balls of her feet. Okay? And see how she's using her entire body, her core, her knees, her hips. Excellent, good. Now let's progress this even more. We're going to move this on to doing a full 4 corners, which is what your progression needs to be, and making sure you follow all those same rules that I've already given you in regards to jumping and landing and movement. All right, so we're going to do 4 corners. So she's going to jump from this side of the square to that side of the square, backwards, all 4 corners. All right, so jump, land softly, jump, backwards, land softly, jump, land, backwards, softly. Good, excellent. Good job. Now there's a couple more variations that we can do with this. We can number these squares, and I can holler out numbers, and she has to literally jump to those squares, okay? So if this is 1 and I ask her to jump to 3, she'll have to jump over here. 2 is over here, and so forth and so on. But you can add all kinds of dynamics and entertainment values to it and everything else, all right?
It's like a dance-off.
It is like a dance-off a little bit, all right? So now we're going to move over, and we're actually going to do a full dynamic movement where she's actually going to be doing almost kind of suicides, and we're going to talk about what she needs to do when she transfers her weight from going one direction to another. All right, the next step to this is actually a full dynamic movement where we're actually going to talk about changing directions and what the knee and the body and the angle should be when we do transfer directions. So what we're going to do is we're going to have her come in basically kind of like doing suicide. She's going to come in here, she's going to touch the line, and she's going to take off again. All right, so go ahead. All right, stop. All right, so did you see what she did right there? When she stopped right here, her knee went in just like this, and she changed directions like this. So what I want you to do this time is when you hit this, I want you to twist your hips, okay, and really drive forward. And you'll see 2 things. Number 1, she's protecting her knee so much more. And number 2, how much faster she is at doing it. All right, Maya, you ready? Good. See how much quicker she is just in that little adjustment. So it's not only better for your knees and for the health of your knees, it'll also increase your performance.
Thank you, Barry Mulkey, for some of those great explanations from an athletic trainer. So again, some critical things. We want to prevent those ACL injuries. We talked about stretching, okay, and everybody knows the basic stretches. He added a couple for us. We talked about proprioception, knowing where your body is in space, some different drills to work on that, to make things move and make your body adjust. And then we talked about some strengthening, some of those deep squats and even those single leg pistol squats. Kind of tough to do, but they did well. And then the dynamic training. Running, twisting, and pivoting. We never want that knee rotating in. Females, again, naturally have a higher Q angle, a more propensity to do that. The studies show us typical teenage females, they don't land as deeply when they squat. They're not flexing their hip and knees as much, and they tend to do this when they land and when they pivot. Those are the two things I think we can do best to try and prevent ACL tears in your daughters. Work on all these factors, work on those drills, focusing on keeping your hips over your knees, over your shoelaces, okay? So we prevent those injuries. Thank you, Maya. Good job.